Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ballerina. When it comes to ballet variations, you've probably watched countless Black Swans, countless Sleeping Beauties, and enough Giselles to last a lifetime. And now you're up here looking for something niche, something rare, something that probably doesn't show up in ballet competitions or variations classes.
Well, if that is you, then pull up a chair and have a seat because you, my dear friend, have come to the right place. Today we're going into the secret vault of ballet variations, and we're going to be sharing with you 5 more ballet variations that you probably haven't seen before, and talk about where they came from and why you should love them as much as we do.
If you're excited, curious, or at least just a little bit intrigued, then make sure you hit that like button and let's get it. Before we open the vault, we wanted to introduce you just briefly to the sponsor of today's video, FOREO Sweden, who have honestly been working wonders for our skincare game these days.
They were kind enough to send us the amazing FAQ 202 LED face mask, which is honestly one of the most effective and convenient, brilliant combination skincare device we have ever used. The mask itself is super lightweight, wireless, cord-free, and it's made of like this really soft like silicone, so it can mold to any face shape.
And stay on.
It includes 8 different wavelengths or different colors of light, including near-infrared light, which is, if you do your research, incredible for your skin.
This mask can pretty much target any skin concern, whether it be dullness or redness, fine lines and wrinkles, acne, scarring, pretty much everything else that you can think of. Honestly, it's become an integral part of our skincare routine, especially these days.
I don't know my routine without it anymore.
Yeah, I know.
That's how integrated they've become with our daily lives.
And honestly, it works.
It works, and it's like easy to use, it's effective, it's not a hassle, and it doesn't take a lot of time.
Yeah, that's important. Important to us anyways. Also worth mentioning is the UFO 3. This basically gives you like a full spa facial experience at home in minutes. The UFO 3 combines red light therapy, warming and cooling treatment, and also a massage feature that just feels unfairly relaxing. It's so perfect to completely just dissolve all of the tension after long, stressful days.
And it also like delivers a lot of beautiful moisture into your skin. We absolutely love FOREO and their products. And as a matter of fact, they are currently celebrating their birthday. Ooh. Happy birthday, FOREO. And they're offering all of the Ballet Nerds an incredible discount of 35% off all of their products, including discounted items, with the code BALLET35.
Even on top of existing sales.
Yes, the promotion is stackable, so make sure you don't waste that.
Don't miss it. So that all to say, go check them out, and thank you so much to FOREO Sweden for being the sponsor of today's video. Alright, you guys, we have gained entry to the secret ballet variation vault. And the first variation we're going to be talking about today is from the ballet Harlequinade.
The variation we're going to be talking about today is Columbine's variation. Columbine is, in case you don't know, our female protagonist of the ballet Harlequinade. And this variation takes place in Act 1, just following her entrance.
Harlequin has just called to her from outside of her house, and she comes down to meet him, and they have a pas de deux. Yes. Obviously.
And then following that pas de deux, we have this charming little variation of hers, which is honestly one of the sweetest pieces that I really don't think gets enough credit. The original choreography for this variation was done by our wonderful man, Pet-a-Pa, to music by Ricardo Drigo. Although since then there have been a lot of revisions. There's a Ratmansky version, along with a few others floating around in the ballet world today.
But regardless of the version or the reconstruction or the choreography, Columbine's variation is always very conventionally feminine.
Yes.
Very cute, very sweet. Columbine as a character, I think, like we've said before, she's a very sweet, very girlish character.
Yeah, almost like ingenue, like really innocent, kind of. Uncommonly beautiful.
Uncommonly beautiful,
obviously for a protagonist. But this variation really mirrors that, not just in the steps, of course those are very delicate and very beautiful and feminine, of course, but also in the music. The main melody is sung by a violin, which is really, really beautiful, very singing-like. Almost the melody, the way it works, and the way that it kind of just like lilts and goes at its own beautiful pace. It kind of sounds like the voice of Columbine, like her singing to herself as she's dancing this variation. That's the kind of feel that the music brings to this variation.
As we've said before, choreography varies greatly from version to version.
Very much
but
so.
I feel like a constant is this passage of turning releves or Italian fouettes that shows up sort of towards the middle of the variation.
It's kind of like the trick step, if you would, of the variation.
So that's the one common thread that I've noticed through all of the different versions.
This variation is quite a long one, clocking in at around 2 minutes and 15 seconds, which is definitely on the longer side for a variation. But to be honest, it's like 2 minutes and 15 seconds of pure bliss. It is just the sweetest little variation. It's so cute. It's so beautiful. And it's not like super over the top flashy, like a Kitri or like a Laurencia or something like that. But it has this very nuanced sweetness to it, which is really, really lovely to watch.
It's charming.
Yeah, it's charming.
Like
that's the word.
Something you'd sing while twirling around in the town square type of deal.
See, exactly. And your lover sitting in the corner blowing kisses at you. Like, that's the sort of vibe I get.
Anyways, enjoy this little clip of Columbine variation. I think you'll find it just as sweet as we do.
Going a little deeper into our vault, we're going to pull out a male variation this time, and this one comes from the wonderful ballet La Solfège, which is one of the oldest ballets still in the repertoire today. And of course, we're going to be talking about James's Act 1 variation, which is absolutely fabulous. It actually genuinely brings me so much joy to watch.
Same.
It's just a happy place variation.
It is.
It really is.
I will say it's not the most rare, but it's underappreciated.
Way underappreciated. I still venture to say that it's not really that popular. Hence why we're adding it into our list today. For the context of this scene where this variation takes place, our male protagonist, James, is engaged to marry Effie. And so this scene in Act 1...
It's like the celebration of their wedding festivities.
Right. There's a lot of happy dance numbers in this scene. And then James comes in with this incredible variation.
The most commonly performed choreography is done by Auguste Bournonville.
Yes.
We love Bournonville. I think
Love
the
him.
Bournonville ballets are just stellar.
Especially his male pieces, because Bournonville himself was very technically skilled as a danseur, and he kind of really pushed the male technique. For all of his male choreography, obviously that really, really shines.
So amazing choreography by Bournonville, and
Yes.
the music by Hermans Löwenschuld. I think my favorite thing about Bournonville male variations is that they don't follow the typical male variation template.
Exactly.
Most male variations kind of go jumps, turns, more jumps, finish. Whereas Bournonville's male variations, they have a bit more texture to them. He doesn't just make his danseurs do tricks, he makes them dance.
Yeah.
So in this variation, you get to see a lot more than just, double tours and turns in second.
Yeah, exactly. This variation clocks in at around 50 seconds, which is pretty typical for a male variation. But again, in trademark Bournonville style, if you know anything about Bournonville, there's a huge focus on batterie in this variation, which is anything with the legs beating together in the air. And of course, a lot of Bournonville jetés, which are wonderful. And I think it also has this very celebratory, feel.
A sign of a really well-performed Bournonville piece is a combination of ballon and effortlessness. Ballon obviously referring to the dancer's ability to kind of suspend or hang a little bit in the air as they jump. So ballon, in conjunction though with that classic upper body ease,
Yes.
that's so important for Bournonville pieces. The port-de-bras has to maintain this sort of
It's a gentleness.
a gentleness.
Yeah, it's a gentleness. One thing that I really love about this variation, in the context of the full-length ballet, there's a lot of moments in this variation where he dances for the people on the stage, where he interacts with the other characters standing around and sort of the guests that have come to the party. And it brings again that sense of realism and sort of family almost, because it's a
Yeah.
tight-knit community. They're all very close and they've all come to obviously celebrate his wedding. I think that adds a level of emotional depth to
Yeah.
the variation, which is, I think, very unique and very special in terms of the male variations.
Yeah, there's a warmth there. That's
Yeah.
it's really sweet. So there you have it, the James variation.
Yes.
It's great. It's
It's
honestly
wonderful.
Live, laugh, love Bournonville, you guys. All right, we're going to dive really deep into the Ballet Nerd Vault for this one. This variation I actually never discovered until way further along in my Ballet Nerd journey.
Yeah.
But we're gonna give it to y'all for free. It's
For
your
free.
lucky day.
Your lucky day. We love you so much.
This variation actually hails from the ballet The Flames of Paris, which in general I feel like is not a super often performed ballet.
No, I think the Grand Pas de Deux with the variations are pretty popular,
Yeah,
of course, but the rest of the ballet, yeah, it's not as commonly performed.
But this variation takes place in Act 1, Scene 2 of the ballet, and this is sort of set in the royal courts. This is actually a ballet within a ballet.
Yes.
Type of deal. Basically in the story, they bring in a divertissement to perform a ballet, and through the ballet they tell the story of Rinaldo and Armida, and within the ballet, we have this variation called Armida's variation.
Armida's variation. Did we lose you?
Did we lose you? Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
The original choreography of Flames of Paris was done by Vasily Venonin to music by Boris Asafiev. Now regarding the variation itself, this is a quite low tempo variation. It's actually very quiet.
It's very quiet.
Very subdued. But that being said, it's
a killer.
It is a
It's a secret silent killer.
It really is. This variation clocks in at 1 minute and 23 seconds approximately, and it's pretty much exclusively comprised of tiny point work steps.
Yes, specifically hops on point.
Yeah, you guys, the amount of hops on point in this variation is actually obscene. And the spotlight of this variation is very much on the details and the exactness and precision of all of those tiny little point work steps.
I think that this variation is very exotic. I think in terms of the sort of texture.
It has an almost enigmatic feel to
Yeah,
it.
that's a good word.
Like slightly mysterious, but in a
Yeah.
very ethereal, delicate way.
Exactly. Like it's not dark necessarily,
no.
but it's mysterious.
Enigmatic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's subtle, but it's exacting, and that combination makes it really difficult to perform.
Yes.
Because not only are you doing these incredible, difficult steps and tons of hops on point, but you have to maintain this sort of
Like a presence.
composure and this
Yeah.
your aura
Exactly.
while you're doing this variation. It's like 50% subtlety and 50% aura.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But when done well, obviously, this variation has the power to hold your attention the entire time. It's absolutely a showstopper,
Yeah.
but in its own very mysterious, very quiet way.
Exactly.
So, go check it out.
The next one, actually the next two on the list are two of our personal favorites for sure.
Yes.
This one's another girls variation, and this one is from the ballet La Esmeralda. And if you watched our last 5 rare ballet variations video, we did mention another of Esmeralda's variations, the slower, sadder one. But for this video, we're gonna bring in Esmeralda as her bright, happy, youthful, energetic self with her Act 1, Scene 2 variation. The ballet was originally choreographed by Jules Perrault, who was the same choreographer who did Giselle, one of our favorite ballets. Although, of course, like most other ballets in the repertoire, La Esmeralda was eventually revised by Petipa, and that's sort of the version we know and use today. And of course, the beautiful music for this ballet is done by Cesare Pugni, very famous ballet composer.
This variation is about 1 minute and 38 seconds-ish long, which is pretty long by variation standards.
But honestly, I wouldn't mind if it were even a little longer, just because how wonderful this variation is. For context of this scene, obviously this is after the town scene, and this is kind of like a little interlude before Act 2. And she's gone back to her house, and you know, she's had a long, full day. She agreed to marry a man just to save him from being hanged, and then she almost got kidnapped, got saved by a knight, and then fell in love with said knight, even though she technically married basically all in a day's work. And so after all of that, she finally comes home, and then her husband comes home as well. And Esmeralda, in case you don't know her character, she dances on the street for sort of a living. And so she loves dancing, but then her husband, Gringoire, is not at all a dancer. He doesn't know how to dance. He can't dance well. He's clumsy. He has 2 left feet. And so this scene is all sort of her and him kind of bonding over dancing. She's trying to teach him how to dance. And he's honestly just happy to be there. He's kind of like enamored with her. And it's just a charming little scene. So she gives him a tambourine and tells him to keep the time for her while she dances. And this variation variation is it.
I know Esmeralda is mostly known for the tambourine, but in this variation, she actually has castanets, which are very, very fun. And this variation, because of its very grounded, very natural setting, has this beautiful sort of character dance feel. It's not too much of like ethereal classical ballet. It's very, you know, down to earth and fun.
Very much so. Esmeralda, in case you didn't know, it is a romantic ballet. So like think Giselle, La Sophie, that era of ballet. So it's an older one. And so this ballet, it doesn't really have that formality, I would say, that a lot of the pet-a-pas, like the classical era pet-a-pas ballets have. It has, again, like you said, like a groundedness, a little bit more of an earthiness to it. I think it's really special because it really preserves some of those old-fashioned lines and positions and sort of transitions.
Like this whole...
Exactly. Like this is very one hand kind of like this with the castanets. It's very old-fashioned and it's very charming, and I think this variation really just encapsulates that whole era.
And it's fun. It's energetic. It has a good rhythm.
It's a bop.
It is a bop. Really portrays Esmeralda's sort of youthfulness, her energy, her passion, just her in her element, doing what she loves best.
Exactly.
It's, again, a very joyful variation. The choreography and music on its own just injects you with this sort of cheerfulness.
Yeah. It really just makes you smile through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So if you're in need of some smiles today, then here you go. Last one for the day, and this one might be one of our favorites from the list.
This is the Ballerina selection for you, handpicked by us from the vault.
This one is the Blue Boy or Green Boys variation from Les Patineurs, which is a really charming, Christmassy, wintry one-act ballet by Frederick Ashton, to music by Giacomo Meyerbeer.
You've probably heard us rave about the Blue Boy on multiple occasions, but we put him in the list so we could rave about him one more time with you guys.
This one is charming.
So adorable.
It's genuinely one of the cutest little variations you've ever seen. It's just character. It's just feeling. It's just, you feel like you get to know him just from this variation.
The amount of personality packed into this tiny little variation is incredible. Absolutely
exquisite.
It's perfect.
This variation is so incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, it's choreographed by Ashton. What do you expect? Ashton is definitely known to create some of the most unique but also wildly difficult choreography. And even though the variation itself isn't particularly long, probably just over a minute, which is pretty standard for a male variation, this variation is packed, like jam-packed, with all sorts of tricky transitions and really difficult steps and passages, all whilst keeping this very youthful, very boyish energy, which kind of gives you this impression of like, oh, this is easy. this is what I do every day when I have an afternoon on a frozen lake.
I also do want to shout out just the music as well, and the way it pairs with the choreography and with the character. I think the use of the brass instruments is absolutely fantastic, very sparsely accompanied, because again, it's his solo. He's alone, sort of on the frozen lake, and you know how the snow kind of dampens the sound?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just quiet, except for him spinning around, having a good time on the lake by himself.
I think the horns in this solo kind of just has this really raw, youthful sort of feel in the way it sort of resonates. And I think in the beginning of this variation, when we have this 1/8 count phrase that just kind of repeats itself with a little pause in the middle before repeating, it really just sounds like, you know, when you have a song stuck in your head and you don't remember the second half of it.
Oh yeah.
So you just sing the first bit and you pause and then you repeat it.
Yes!
That's how it feels for me.
You're so right though.
That's how it feels. And so it paints this really vivid picture of this kid in the middle of a frozen lake, humming aimlessly to himself and enjoying life. It has this really raw, free sort of feel.
Again, the personality in this variation is just top notch, you guys. You get such a feel for his character, even though the ballet doesn't necessarily have a story per se. It's like a little vignette almost.
Yeah, that's exactly
you
what
know
it is.
exactly what he's about
just
from that one variation. And I just want to take a moment to shout out that at the end of this variation, he does not 1, not 2, not even 3, but 4 end poses at the end of the variation. It's just It makes me happy in a way that I cannot describe.
There's really no other words to say except just go watch it,
Yeah.
please. Your skin will be cleared, your crops will be watered.
Yeah, like we said in the other video, it will clear your skin and water your crops and probably even ward off evil spirits. Go watch it!
There you have it, everybody. That was our little tour into the deep recesses of the Ballet Variations vault. Hopefully we were able to bring some new variations to your attention today. Something new for you to discover, maybe look into, and maybe even a trail for you to find some new ones.
Let us know your favorite variation from this list in the comments, or if there are other rare variations that you may have come across that you'd like to direct to our attention for us to feature in a future video. Leave all of that in the comments below. We do read every single one of y'all's comments and try to get back to you guys as much as we can. And honestly, we always look forward to hearing from y'all. Huge thank you, of course, to all of the patrons right here on the screen that have made today's video possible.
Thank you.
If you guys would also like to fund the future of Ballet Nerd content and keep videos like this coming to you, then please consider becoming a patron. The link will be down in the description box, or you can visit patreon.com/balletrain.
And of course, a heartfelt thank you and happy birthday to FOREO Sweden. Be sure to tap the link in our description box and use the code Ballet35 to get 35% off all of their products, including discounted items. So if you would like to incorporate FOREO into your own skincare game, then make sure you go check them out.
Anyways, I think that is all from us for now. This is Ballerina signing off. Until the next video.
Bye.
Wait, my back needs to pop. Hold up. There we go. Okay. The link will be downstairs. Downstairs. I'm tired.
Our male protagonist, James, is engaged to marry, or
Ify.
is it Ify or Effie?
Ify?
I'll just say Ify.
Ify?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
We're gonna get comments.
This is a 50-50 chance.
My hands are shaking. Should we look it up? Let's look it up. We're gonna get comments. Ify. It's a bit iffy.
Can you stop, please?
Sorry. I regret everything. Thank you, pronouncename.com.
Effie. It's Effie. I'm so tired.
Sorry. I didn't help. I'm the reason you're tired. About a minute and 38 seconds-ish long, which is long by... Do you mind? We're trying to film.
Who sinned?
Me. It was me. It's punishment for the pun. Punishment.